meteorologist Lee Goldberg. I know this weather must be trying your patience. Give it a little longer. We have improvement tomorrow. Big picture, we were a little milder today. Not a lot of wind, and we only had a little mist at times. But it's this stubborn low right here. It's really been a thorn in our side, and it's only creeping away very slowly. It's just sort of weakening in place. So we're left with all these clouds around, and you'll still see more into tomorrow morning. It's really the only thing between us and summer temperatures. It's in the 80s, about a couple hundred miles off to our west, even in the middle 80s in the Ohio Valley. So we still have a lot of low clouds. You'll deal with fog tomorrow morning. At the bus stop, might need the umbrella for just a little bit of spotty drizzle or mist. We're about 58 degrees. But breaks of sun will return in the afternoon. We'll talk about the summer warmth late week. Won't last all weekend. More on that in the 70 AccuWeather forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Lee, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. An attempt tomorrow to begin the fix, the aging infrastructure problems at the country's busiest train hub, Penn Station. Amtrak will announce its plans to try to fix the track and signal problems that plague Penn Station, often turning the train station into a parking lot of people. Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan live at Penn Station with the story. Jim?
Yeah, Bill, it's pretty exciting. We could learn a little bit tomorrow about the plans to fix the many problems here that have caused so many delays recently. Until then, we'll do what everybody does here. Wait. There has been plenty of time to listen to music at Penn Station lately, and folks who take the Long Island Railroad and New Jersey Transit have been singing the commuter blues.
Walking his bus too slow.
It's horrible. Railroad's horrible.
Penn Station is a debacle. It has been for decades.
The governor today said the buck stops with Amtrak. He says the deterioration of Penn Station and the lines that service it is their fault.
Fix it, do your job, be competent, run Penn Station competently.
Amtrak is slated to hold a conference call with state officials tomorrow to detail their plan to repair the commuter hub. But commuters say they know exactly what that means.
But I haven't seen anything tangible other than the rate hikes, like things like that.
Plenty of those, right?
Right, we do see those.
The concern for most commuters is how much is it going to cost us in the end? So if it comes down to a choice between dealing with some of these inconveniences or paying more, I think most of us would say leave it alone.
Thank you, brother.
The governor says he wants to talk to Amtrak and have a hand in the plans to fix up Penn Station so that he can minimize the impact on commuters. Reporting live from Penn Station, Jim Dolan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Jim, thank you. Happening tomorrow, funeral services for a New York City firefighter killed in the line of duty. William Tolley's fellow firefighters saluted his wife and 8-year-old daughter as they arrived this afternoon at his wake at a funeral home in Bethpage. Tolley was killed last week after falling 5 stories while battling a fire in Queens. His funeral will be held tomorrow morning at 11. We will stream it live on ABC7 NY and also on our news app. They were once co-workers and friends, but today a New Jersey cop took the stand to testify against his former friend after they both were nearly killed in a wrong-way crash. The defendant, former Linden officer Pedro Abad, cited Bible scriptures outside the courtroom today. Earlier, the only other survivor from the 2015 crash on Staten Island described a night of drinking and partying before the accident. Abad was at the wheel. 2 of their friends were killed.
A dramatic cut in taxes proposed tonight by President Trump. Here are the specifics. Huge cuts in corporate and business tax, down to just 15% from 35%. Also cuts in personal income taxes, including for the wealthy, as the number of tax brackets would drop from 7 to 3, 10%, 25%. 5%. The cost for all this, at least $3 trillion over the next decade in lost government revenues. The White House believing that can be offsetted by what they hope will be a booming economy. Eyewitness News reporter Sevon Kim with the politics of all this. Sevon?
Well, Bill, it is another campaign promise being delivered. That is what President Trump will tell you. But like his health care bill, it's thin on details. That's what his critics will tell you. The question tonight, though, does this thing have any chance of becoming law?
We're simplifying the tax code.
President Donald Trump today making good on a campaign promise with an emphasis on that simplifying part. The new policy, just 1 page long. The president calling it the biggest tax cut ever, unveiled just before day 100. It would dramatically change the tax system, but it would be expensive. It would cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 15%, include a tax break for childcare expenses, and cut individual tax rates as well, reducing the number of tax brackets from 7 to just 3. It would also eliminate estate taxes and double the standard deduction, so for a married couple, the first $24,000 of income would be income tax-free.
This will pay for itself with growth.
But the plan, really just an outline of a plan, has even some Republicans privately wondering if this is real tax reform or just a gimmick. One bipartisan analysis estimating it could cost between $3 to $7 trillion in lost revenue over a decade. The plan also lacking specifics.
Family of 4, median income $60,000. What does it mean for them?
It's going to mean a tax cut.
How much?
Going to mean a tax cut.
There are also questions about how it would affect the president and his family's business. A mystery because President Trump hasn't released his tax returns. That new lower corporate tax rate would apply to businesses that pay through the owner's personal taxes, like the Trump Organization.
The president has released plenty of information and I think has given more financial disclosure than anybody else.
But doesn't the American people have a right to know?
So your response to those critics who say a lot of what you've presented here today could save the president or benefit his own businesses?
Again, let me just comment. What this is about is creating jobs and creating economic growth.
Exchange there giving a sense of what President Trump is up against. Passing this into law could all come back to his refusal to release his own returns. And it's a political fight that Democrats think they can win. Back to you guys.
Stefan Kim, thank you, Stefan. Just moments ago, a big announcement and something of a reversal from President Trump. He says he will now not pull out of the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, which he always said he wanted to eliminate. Instead, Mexico's president and Canada's prime minister talking to Mr. Trump today and agreeing to discuss a renegotiation of NAFTA. Stay tuned. Meanwhile, some U.S. senators tonight calling a secretive meeting about tensions with North America at the White House. Nothing more than, their words, a stunt orchestrated by President Trump. President summoning all 100 U.S. senators to the White House. 96 showed up at the classified briefing to hear the administration's options to deal with North Korea. The senators were bused to the White House under heavy security. Some senators said the talk about possible war with North Korea is overstated. And a program note for you, Eyewitness News political reporter Dave Evans in Washington as President Trump marks his first 100 days in office. You can see Dave's live reports beginning tomorrow on Eyewitness News on air and online.
We're hearing tonight from the brother of a former Rikers Island jail inmate whose death led to huge reforms, including a plan to close Rikers. Akeem Browder is part of a group pushing for Rikers to be closed within 3 years, not 10, as New York City officials are calling for. Browder's brother, Khalif, was arrested at the age of 16 for allegedly stealing a backpack. He spent 3 years in Rikers awaiting trial and was repeatedly attacked. After his eventual release, Khalif committed suicide in 2015.
Khalif didn't commit suicide because of the walls on Rikers. So when we're saying close down Rikers or shut down Rikers, we're also saying we want accountability. Accountability for those officers that did wrong by our kids, our brothers, our family, and Khalif.
All right.
Akeem Browder now leads a group called Exodus, aimed at helping former inmates transition back into society.
Straight ahead on Eyewitness News 11, a developing story, a dangerous standoff underway right now between a suspected cop killer and police. We have new details on this deadly confrontation. And dramatic video, a massive landslide raining down on a highway as workers run for their lives.
ABC7 knows the difficulties kids face, struggling with identity.
I thought that I was a boy.
Bullies.
I had no friends.
Even dealing with childhood concussions, things all families should know. I'm Diana Williams. Join me for Protect Our Children, Bullying and Cyber Tech. Saturday at 7, only on Channel 7.
Sponsored by your Tri-State Ford dealers. The Ford